Welcome to Six Figs. I'm Kyle, and in today's video, guess what? We're talking about some juicy ICP drama, and then we're going to hit the charts, baby. Now, ICP's looking super sexy. We'll talk about CYG, EXE, Kong, and Bob. First and foremost, folks, hit me up on X at Real Six Fig. This is where I'm dropping all the latest and greatest. Now, there has been some absolute crazy FUD that has been attempted to be deployed on KongSwap today. We're going to get into this. Apparently, I've lost all my objectivity and neutrality. KongSwap paid me. Oh my God. Could you guys imagine working for free? I doubt that even this gentleman would work for free, but he should be. Get your ass out there and work for free, folks. Nobody else has done more work for free when it comes to helping the ICP community. You know how much it cost me to make Cracking FTX? A documentary that I put on by myself, folks. This thing cost me over $7,000. Didn't get a grant. $7,000 out of my own pocket. So to whine about somebody getting paid for actually doing work on a project like KongSwap, which has now become the most successful SNS project in 2 months, seems really bizarre and weird to me. This is an amazing project. So when it comes down to it, you know, I've been very transparent about my position at KongSwap. I've had my advisor label in my bio from day one. 3 months ago, I let my community know on my YouTube page that I have signed up as an advisor to KongSwap. And I've mentioned it in pretty much every video that I've made after that. So when it comes down to it, I start looking and digging a little bit more, and I couldn't help but to think that there could be some sort of ulterior motive, and I hope that's not the case, because that can be very toxic for the community to have people like this really promoting these toxic narratives that aren't true. At 7 a.m., folks, this tweet was dropped, and it said that KongSwap was down minus 66%, but you can still see a price tag of 0.067. Well, when we look at the KongSwap charts, and let's just be generous here. Right here, this is the candle. I'm going to zoom way in so you guys can get a real good look at this. And when it comes down to it, this is the candle. This is when that tweet was deployed. And if we just go up to this wick, which, hey, by the way, congrats to everyone that sold this nice wick to 10 cents. That is a great price to hit. Congrats to Kong Token, the team, for hitting that. But if we even come down to this candle where he went ahead and made that tweet, this thing's only down 36%. Just is what it is, right? And if you think about this from a standpoint of this tweet, you can see that 0.067 was when that screenshot was made. And so I think that this minus 66 is either a bug or it's some Photoshop designed to discredit KongSwap. And you can see that there is an ulterior motive here. Okay? I don't know, but I'm just speculating. But you can see that even at 0.067, let's just drop from this wick, it would only be possible for KongSwap to be down 35%. So I've got some questions about this. I'm not going to dwell on this for too much longer, but, you know, Blockchain Pill had some nice words to say. And at the end of the day, folks, my inbox gets filled up with all of these scam projects every single day. I have to basically go through the trenches to try to figure out if there's anything good, anything legitimate that I need to take a look at. I have requirements for projects. I need to know who created it. I need to know who's involved with it at every single level before I will even look at it. So when it comes down to it, large accounts like mine and Blockchain Pills, I'm sure he gets hammered with requests to promote stuff all the time. I can say that out of thousands of requests over the years, I have only signed on with maybe a half a dozen. Kong Swap being one of them. So I carefully vet everything, and Kong Swap is the most successful SNS project to date in only 2 months. So by nature, we are going to be catching a lot of heat being the best. So I'm chill with it, right? Speaking of Kong Swap, folks, and this is one thing that really haunts projects in any community is when they do not have that velocity or that ability to accelerate out of the ecosystem via marketing. Everybody always whines about ICP's marketing. Well, guess what? Say what you want. I'm not going to say anything about ICP's marketing. It's not really any of my business, and they're going to handle it. But I can speak for Kong Swap because guess what? They have now brought on Coach Ty as the VP of marketing. Ty has over 700,000 plus followers across his social media platforms, guys. He knows what's going on in the game. He has access to KOLs outside of the ecosystem that can absolutely bring in people to Internet Computer. So, big cheers, tip of the hat to Ty. He's going to do an absolute banger of a job when it comes to really throwing Kong Swap, on that next level. Cyclic's Games, folks. I've been telling you guys about Cyclic's Games now since it was at 18 cents, 19 cents, all over down in here. And now we are ripping. But they have just, in stealth, really started stacking this casino with tons and tons of games. So we got 44 slots. We've got tons of a couple originals. We got some live casino stuff, some crash games, and some mini games. And I think that we're going to see this thing really get loaded up with a lot more games before we really see them turn on that marketing machine. So we'll talk about this TA here in just a second. I will also be on the line with ICP Hubs Germany December 20th. And I will also be on the line with ICP Hubs on December 20th as well. So I'll make the rounds, right? We've got the crypto bubbles course, ICP down 5% on the day. It is what it is, guys. So with that said, we're going to move on to the Bob charts. Now, this is why it's important to follow me on X, folks, because I drop a lot of TA in between these types of videos. I might only get a chance to make 1 or 2 videos a week, but you can see I drew this Fibonacci channel up long ago, and you can see how price action on the Bob charts are absolutely following this Fibonacci channel to a T. Now, right now, I do think that we are seeing Elliott wave theory to the upside here. And I do think that we might be seeing Bob squeeze to $2.45-50 here in the midterm. We could also see a nice little pullback to this 50 moving average in order to hit this. So it wouldn't surprise me if we saw like this pennant, this bull pennant form, maybe something like this occur. This is the 4-hour chart, but I do think that right now, as far as I'm concerned, my opinion is that, we do have some sort of Elliott wave theory movement on this. So I'm super bullish on Bob. Now, Kong, folks, Kong Swap, this thing from the bottom, and I've been telling you guys about Kong Swap. I bought in the SNS, folks. I put my own money where my mouth was on this because I knew what we had. And this thing's going to rival Uniswap and Sushi Swap someday. At least I hope. With the current velocity and momentum that we have, I think it's very possible, especially with all these new people that are about to enter into this ecosystem, primarily through Caffeine AI, which is absolutely insane. They are going to need a place to swap tokens. I think they're just going to naturally gravitate towards Kong. But this thing is up 1,000%. Okay, there was a little bit of a pullback. This thing has been rampaging for quite some time. So I do think that right now, Kong Swap is still looking good, even on this dip. But I think what we're going to really need is some more drifting, I want to call it, over towards this 50 moving average. Maybe in the next 2 or 3 days, see something like this, or maybe some sort of pennant form. And I hope to see a nice bounce to come back up to retest these all-time highs at 10 cents. And then from there, I would hope that we would see some sort of ascending triangle or something like this before this thing moves to the upside. Either that or some sort of bull flag or bull pennant that forms. So this is kind of what's on my radar right now. And at the end of the day, when we start talking about like Elliott wave theory and stuff like that, I mean, you might even be able to argue that there could even be some Elliott wave theory movement here to the upside. We're just going to have to play the waiting game. This is such a new token. It's very hard to predict sometimes. EXE, folks, EXE, I feel like people have been really doing a bang-up job supporting EXE. And now I do think that EXE is in a tremendous opportunity here to squeeze to the upside, simply because we can see that there is a very nice symmetrical triangle. And if you want to even go out on a limb here and say that this is a bull pennant, I do think that we could see EXE absolutely start ripping. And you guys can see how price action is absolutely squeezing. Now, there's a lot to be bullish on EXE about. Shill Gates, one of the Internet Computer's finest developers, who also does work for the magnificent blue chip DEX Kong Swap, is behind EXE in Windows 98. So when it comes down to it, I wouldn't bet against the dude. For real. I'm just saying. It's not that obvious. It's not that hard to point this stuff out, especially when you have absolutely legitimate people behind things. Cyclic Games, folks, is formed a really nice textbook bull pennant. And you can see how price action is right now testing this upper trend line. And I'm hoping that we see the next leg up. But if we don't, prepare to see $1.09 somewhere in there, possibly, if things get really bad. But I would hope that we can absolutely break through this resistance going back up to $2 for a retest. We'll have to reevaluate there. But as far as I'm concerned, Cyclic Games has an incredible opportunity when it comes to like potential and things like that. And if we go ahead here, we'll just pull up the 3-day chart. It might take a few more days, maybe going into the new year, to drift closer to this 50 moving average to get that bounce to the upside. Now, ICP, on the other hand, folks, is doing exactly what I said it was going to do back in March and April. I said, watch out for this thing to basically form a nice cup and handle. Before any of this stuff was here, I was telling you guys we could be seeing a cup and handle form from here on out. That's exactly what has happened. Now, I do think that ICP, and we're looking at the daily chart, is really forming out quite the nice symmetrical triangle possibly. And this thing on this daily, we have almost like this bull pennant somewhere in there, but we've got a 50 moving average. And I think that we're going to see maybe price action squeeze right onto this 50 moving average and then start ripping back up to 20. When they release Caffeine AI, that thing is going to make so much waves, it's not even going to be funny. Now, I think that we do have some serious potential to see ICP folks run. With a cup and handle like this, we can just make the argument that if this thing does go into absolute blast off mode, we could easily see $154 ICP. But the thing is, with Caffeine AI, that's going to bring in so many builders. We are going to have so much degen activity. We are going to be seeing cycles burned like nobody else has ever seen. And so I think that we are about to see the ecosystem absolutely take off. So I love you all, and we'll see you guys on the next video.